Tuần trước chúng ta đã học và đã hoàn thành Chapter 9 The Cardiovascular System, mô tim mạch. Rồi, nửa giờ đầu mình sẽ review lại những cái nội dung chính cũng như từ vựng và làm thêm một số những cái bài tập có liên quan tới tim mạch. Rồi nửa giờ sau mình sẽ học tiếp bài mới. Now to review the previous lesson, I'd like you to watch a video clip about the cardiovascular system to have an overview of this organ system.
The cardiovascular system is part of the circulatory system that circulates blood. The circulatory system also includes the lymphatic system, which circulates lymph, but the terms circulatory system and cardiovascular system are commonly used interchangeably to describe blood circulation. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood, and blood vessels. The heart is essentially a pump that moves blood through the vessels. It has two sides, each of which has two chambers. The best-known function of the circulatory system is perhaps the transport of inhaled oxygen from the lungs to body's tissues and removal of carbon dioxide in the opposite direction to be exhaled. Basically, oxygen-poor blood from the body returns to the right side of the heart, where it is pumped to the lungs. In the lungs, blood picks up oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. Oxygen-rich blood then returns to the left side of the heart. This part of the system is called the pulmonary circuit. The left side of the heart pumps oxygen-rich blood to body's tissues, where it unloads oxygen and picks up carbon dioxide. The resulting deoxygenated blood again returns to the heart's right side to complete the cycle. This part is the systemic circuit. Because the heart's left side has to pump blood to the entire body, it has much thicker muscle than the right side. There are 4 valves which serve to ensure one-way blood flow through the heart. Oxygen-poor blood flows from right atrium to right ventricle to pulmonary arteries, while oxygen-rich blood moves from left atrium to left ventricle to the aorta. The heart is enclosed in a double-walled protective sac called the pericardium. The pericardial cavity contains a fluid which serves as lubricant and allows the heart to contract and relax with minimum friction. The heart wall has 3 layers. The outer layer, epicardium, lines the pericardial cavity. The inner layer, endocardium, lines heart chambers and valves and is continuous with the endothelium of blood vessels. And the thick middle layer, myocardium, is the muscle tissue responsible for the beating of the heart. The contraction of the heart muscle is initiated by electrical impulses, known as action potentials. Unlike skeletal muscles, which have to be stimulated by the nervous system, the heart generates its own electrical stimulation. The impulses start from a small group of cells called the pacemaker cells, which constitute the cardiac conduction system. The primary pacemaker is the SA node. It initiates all heartbeats and controls heart rate. Apart from transporting gases, the blood also supplies body's tissues with nutrients and removes metabolic wastes. It receives nutrients from the digestive system, where digested substances are absorbed through the walls of the small intestine into the bloodstream. These substances are then passed through the liver to be screened for toxins before joining the general circulation. In tissues, nutrients are exchanged for wastes. Wastes are then filtered from the blood in the kidneys and removed in urine. The blood also carries hormones from endocrine glands to target organs and plays an important role in the body's immune defense. The blood has two main components, a clear extracellular fluid called plasma, and the so-called formed elements, which include red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. White blood cells participate in various defense mechanisms against invading organisms, while the platelets are responsible for blood clotting, minimizing blood loss during an injury. The blood circulatory system is a closed loop, meaning the blood itself never leaves the vessels. Instead, substances diffuse through the walls of blood vessels to move to and from the surrounding tissues. Vessels that move blood away from the heart are called arteries, while those that bring blood back to the heart are veins. Arteries usually carry oxygenated blood, while veins carry deoxygenated blood. For pulmonary arteries and veins, however, the reverse is true. The usual route of blood flow is heart to large arteries, smaller arteries, then even smaller arteries, called arterioles, then smallest blood vessels called capillaries, where the exchange of substances takes place. Blood then collects into small veins, called venules, then to larger veins, and back to the heart. Arteries and veins essentially serve to conduct blood. Their walls consist of 3 layers. An outer layer of loose connective tissue serves to anchor the vessels to the surroundings. A middle layer of mostly smooth muscles allows the vessels to constrict or dilate, regulating blood flow. And an inner layer consisted of thin squamous endothelium separated from outer layers by a basement membrane. In general, larger vessels have more connective tissue and smooth muscle. In addition, arteries have more muscles than veins because they carry blood away from the heart and must withstand higher pressures generated by the beating of the heart. The walls of capillaries, whose function is to exchange substances between the blood and surrounding tissue, consist solely of a thin endothelium with its basement membrane, thus permitting easy diffusion of blood solutes.
Okay, now let's review some of the main ideas of this session. So the cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood, and blood vessels, including the aorta, the largest arteries of the body, and vena cava, the largest vein, and capillaries. Arteries, arterioles, vein, and venules are smaller blood vessels transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide to and from the heart. Some of the key terms in terms of the blood: polyoxygenated blood, blood high in or rich in carbon dioxide, or deoxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood or blood in high in or rich in oxygen. The heart has 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. And that also have the valves have to preventing the blood flow of the blood. Make sure that the blood moves just in one direction. For heart valves are the AV valves and semi valves. Bioscopic valve and bioscopic or mitral valves are the AV valves. Aortic, semilunar valves or pulmonary semilunar valves. The atrium, the singular, or the atrials of the heart, they are small and thin walled chambers, receiving blood from the vena cava and pushing the blood into the adjacent ventricles. The ventricles make up most of the mass of the heart, and it has a role of discharge chambers of the heart, pushing blood into the pulmonary arteries and aorta. 4 valves of the heart, including AV valves and semilunar valves. The 4 heart valves prevent the backflow of the blood, make sure the blood that moves in just one direction. Let's have a look at the path of blood through the heart. Some other medical terms involve the cardiovascular system, blood pressure. A measurement of pressure is directed by blood on the walls of blood vessels. The upper number of the blood pressures indicate the systolic pressure, which means the ventricles are contracted, and the lower number shows the diastolic pressure, whether the ventricles are relaxed.
Blood pressure. Nấm tinh say.
The two conditions involve the blood pressure is hypertension, means high blood pressure, and hypotension, low blood pressure. Make sure that you know the difference between the heart rate and the pulse rate. A severe cardiac problem is congestive heart failure. And the graph shows how the angina pectoris or chest pains occur when leading to the heart is quickened. A blockage in the coronary arteries causes an angina pectoris or chest pain. The heart muscle died because of the lack of nutrients. And leading to the quickening of the heart. The pain moving or radiating down left arm may signal a heart attack or MI, myocardial infarction. In session 3, discuss more about the types of heart failures. With the right heart failure and the left heart failures, accompanied by varieties of symptoms. There's some tasks for you to review the lesson. Task 1. Get ready. Using the words in the box to fill in the blank. Task 2. MCQ questions. That's three synonyms. That's for MCQs. That's five. Error recognition. Passage, goes next. MCQs for the passage. And the last one, that's seven. Remember more than two words for each blank. Take 15 minutes to complete the task. Try the answers in a link given.